Jai Shriman Narayan. Jai Shriman. I want to pay my obeisances to my spiritual master, Srimad Jagat Guru Sudarshan Acharya Ji Maharaj. I pay my obeisances to Lord Sri Ramanuj. I pay my obeisances to Mother Lakshmi. And I pay my obeisances to Lord Sriman Narayan. I want to welcome all of you at the Sri Narayan Dham in Durban, South Africa. I want to welcome those that are watching this discourse on live feed, locally, nationally, and internationally. And I want to welcome in advance those that's going to be watching this discourse in various groups when it is posted subsequently. Our topic, Bhagavad Gita, the essence of Sanatan Dharma, and one of the qualities that apparently is attached to Sanatan Dharma is the state of confusion as to the supreme reality. And this reigns so due to the fact that those promote Sanatan Dharma are not authenticated to do so. The information, the knowledge of Sanatan Dharma is infinite. There are those that take information out of context and then they take this information either to preach Sanatan Dharma or to debate Sanatan Dharma. This is so because we do not have a regularized system where our children learn Sanatan Dharma from a school-going age. And I'm talking about the Western world. In India, there are gurukuls, and I feel an outburst of joy when I view on my face, on my wall, the various Sri Sampradaya ashrams teaching these little 5- and 6-year-old children Sanatan Dharma as it really is. And it gives me great hope that this sublime and absolute teaching will never go astray. So we sit here today on a world platform trying to dislodge the web of untruths that have swallowed or seemingly swallowed the absolute truth. And this is going to be a long and arduous journey, for Kali has set in already 5,000 years ago. Kali was designated 4 places to reside in, and now these 4 places pervades the universe. Kali was supposed to live in gambling houses, slaughterhouses, brothels, and in gold. And that is now a common component or element that is pervading the universe. In everyone's fridge, there is a piece of slaughtered animal. On everyone's body, there is a piece of gold, including the Guru. People are gambling, either for monetary gain, or they are gambling the very lives that God has awarded them. Wherever you look, there's Kali. Wherever you look, there's Kali. And last week, I saw Bhadra Kali put the lota on her head. So Kali is here in the Sri Narayan Dham as well. Okay. And Kali, the minute you take your eyes off the ball, as cricketers say, Kali is going to sap you up. Kali is going to sap you up. And this is the reason Gurus initiate their disciples. What is the meaning of initiation? What does initiation mean? It means I am in total ignorance. I am in total ignorance. I have now found a suitable spiritual master who will lead me out of this ignorance. I am not compelled to be with this spiritual master. I have volunteered on my own to be under his guidance, and I relinquish all knowledge. I relinquish all knowledge that is vested in me, and from this day forth, I will follow the instructions of my spiritual master in total surrender. It is a lifelong process. It is a lifelong process. Initiation is a lifelong process. And initiation is not for opportunists. Initiation is not for opportunists. Initiation is for aspirants that are principled. Aspirants that are principled. Whether it is hot or whether it is cold, whether it is snowing or whether it is storm. When you make a commitment, you must try your best to live within that commitment. And this is the basis of initiation. This is the substance of Sanatan Dharma. Throughout Sanatan Dharma, you'll see a teacher and you'll see a disciple. Always in the Ramayan, teacher, disciple. In the Mahabharata, teacher, disciple. In the Bhagavad Gita, teacher, disciple, surrender. These are not just words. But if you're an opportunity or an opportunist, then words mean nothing to you. What is the definition of an opportunist? One who takes advantage of an opportunity unprincipled. One who takes advantage of an opportunity unprincipled. So initiation in Sanatan Dharma is an integral factor of Sanatan Dharma. The guru-disciple relationship is an integral factor in Sanatan Dharma. And this is what happens. When you come to your guru and you gossip about your mother, you gossip about your father, you gossip about your husband, you gossip about your wife, you gossip about your children, you gossip about your boss, you gossip about your previous temple that you went to, and you gossip about your friends. So and one day you'll gossip about your... See the line, Meena? You came in as a gossiper. Not you, Meena. When you come in as a gossiper, and this is why the Guru asks you. Guru knows you're a gossiper. Okay? I come from the military, those of you that do not know. I come from the military. Young age, in my youth, I learned military discipline. At that point in time, South Africa was under apartheid rule. And I had a white station commander. And a friend of mine wanted to work in my unit. I was heading the crime prevention unit in Durban, Warwick Avenue. And a friend of mine, this is an elite unit, and a supposedly good friend of mine, kept on bothering me to come into my unit. And he had just gone promoted to Lance Sergeant, and I was still a constable. So Lance Sergeant is higher than a constable. And I squeezed my station commander's arms and allowed my friend to come in. He begged to join me. And what was the first thing you think he did? He went to the station commander and said, I am a lance sergeant. He is only a constable. And he plays half the time with his friends, and he only works half the time. I want to take command of this unit. What you call that? Gossiping and backbiting. So my station commander, who really loved me, I wish he was alive. I wish he was alive. He would be the proudest person seeing me sitting here today. He called me and he said, I warned you not to bring anyone into your unit, especially that friend of yours. Do you know what your friend did? He tried to stab you in the back. I said, thank you, sir. He asked me which shift must he put my friend in. And I said, please put him in D relief, because in that shift, you have to work. You really have to work. And I learned, and my station commander told me, that if somebody backbites you, then one day he'll backbite me. And he said he had heard thousands of gossip about me because I was his favorite. I was his favorite because at the end of every month, when he tallied his arrest, we were the highest. So the work was done. And he also told me and he taught me, and I was young, 23, 24. He taught me that if somebody gossips about somebody else, there's a difference about complaining and gossiping. You'll understand? I'm not talking about complaining. I'm not talking about giving me relevant information for your upliftment. Otherwise, nobody is going to tell me anything. Right? Ashok Bhai might assault his wife, and she won't tell me because she'll say that's gossiping. All right? No, that's not gossiping. That's reporting. All right? I'm talking about gossiping. So all those that came to this satsang, they gossiped about somebody else and somewhere else. And when I smacked them into reality, then they gossiped about me. Gossiping never stopped. And that is why we teach you values in this satsang. We teach you, as soon as you come in, try and get rid of your six enemies. They're your enemies. They're not my enemies. Anger is whose enemy? It's your enemy, it's in you. Hatred is whose enemy? Your enemy, it's in you. Jealousy, envy, pride. Pride and anger. Pride and anger has removed aspirants from these satsangs. Because when they committed a transgression, I reprimanded them, and when I reprimanded them, they got angry. When they got angry, they gossiped about the Guru. In anger, your bad habits come and take over. After gossiping about the Guru, they got pride. They know the Guru's truth. Every 1 year that left, they know the Guru's truth. But because of anger, they gossiped about the Guru, and because of pride, they can't come back. But if you had no anger, and if you had no pride, look at the reverse side. No anger, no pride. When I whack you, you won't get angry. If you won't get angry, you won't leave. If you won't leave, you are still here. And the benefits are yours. So this is why the Guru asks you to cleanse yourself. Now, you are here through destiny. Each one of you have taken a birth in this universe through destiny. Destiny means Vasudeva Ramanuj Das will only have one child. And all his wealth will go to that one child. And this destiny child will make sure there are no other okay? And if those of you that keeps up the ASRF news, you all will know she bombed a child out of here to make sure that the wealth is hers as per destiny. Okay? As per destiny. So destiny is computed in whom? Guru or you? You. So your destiny is computed in you at birth. When destiny is computed within you, where is the effect? Inside you or outside you? Both. Mostly outside. So destiny say you must be a millionaire. Being a millionaire is internal or external? External. So destiny computed within, the effects and symptoms are found outside. Is it not? So if destiny brought you here, and the Guru has capacity to change your destiny, then what the Guru need to change? The cause of your destiny and not the effect. The cause of your destiny. Where is the cause of your destiny? Within. And what is the substance of your destiny? Varied proportions of anger, hatred, jealousy, pride, envy, greed. Anything else you want to add, Dana? Is it not? These are the causes of your destiny which interact externally and become effects. If you are greedy, and when somebody is not looking, you steal. And when the police catch you, you go to jail. Alright, in a nutshell. So the cause is the greed, and the effect is jail. And that was written and computed from the actions of your previous lifetime. That on the 16th of August, at the Sri Narayan Dham, when nobody is looking, the 500,000 donation given to the Acharya Sham Ramanuj Foundation, you zap it. Alright? And then, because you're a gossiper, you told somebody. And after investigation, Guru was a policeman. He was found, locked up and detained. Do you understand? So greed will impel you to steal, won't it? Pride will impel you not to seek forgiveness. Natasha, pride will impel you not to seek forgiveness because you are big and proud. You think I must tell them to forgive me. I'll never bow down to others. When I spit, I don't suck. When I put my foot down, I don't care what happens. It's about pride and ego. Pride and ego. Two enemies that brought you here, and the effects of pride and ego, you are miserable. You are miserable. You stand in strong. But every second of every minute, your life is in misery. Because pride and ego will take you to your own destruction. To your own destruction. And I don't go too far. Here at the Sri Narayan Dham, pride and ego, many, many big devotees. Vasudeva? Very, very big devotees. So big that we had to find a bigger word for them to describe them. Okay? Pride and ego. This is why you take initiation. And this is why Arjuna told Lord Shri Krishna, I can't make it in this world anymore in terms of this battle at Kurukshetra. I now surrender to you, teach me. I now surrender to you, teach me. When you surrender, it's called initiation. The scriptures have made it very, very clear that when you surrender, then you have to live within the parameters of that surrender. And especially in this Kali Yuga, we give disciples many, many roles to play. And a bona fide Guru of the Sri Ramanuj Sampradaya, his substratum will be humility. His substratum will be absolute humility. Any bona fide spiritual master of the Sri Ramanuj Sampradaya will be in a state of absolute humility. We brought two gurus. Those of you who had experience to meet the two gurus. one from the north, one from the south, both common denominator, absolute humility. So when we give disciples position, and because of the Guru's state of humility, some disciples become bigger than the Guru. We teach you to manage our affairs. We teach you, we have various departments where we insert you, including preaching, writing. There was one devotee that wrote 27 parts. In preaching is a thankless task. How many parts? 27 poems he wrote. He was a master poet. He had the inborn capacity, as I'm giving my discourse, to set it up in a poem form. He laughed at the transgressions of others. He mocked the others when they transgressed. And he also wrote about their transgressions. And he wrote comprehensively about their transgressions. He wrote plays. He became a playwright. He wrote plays about their transgression. He sang about their transgression, and he performed live drama about their transgressions. ASRF became everything in the entertainment world. You laughed until you dropped. And when the Guru smacked him, the show was over. It was called a showstopper. The showstopper. The show ran for many weeks. Now the producer is running. Because he became bigger than the Guru. Don't ever become bigger than the Guru, because you only know so much. And the Guru knows so much. And when you look out of context, because the Vedas is infinite, then don't take the Guru on. Because you might find one sentence, or you might be misinformed by somebody. You might be misinformed by somebody. And the only reason you'll get misinformed by somebody if you gossiping about your Guru somewhere else. And in the Sri Sampradaya, if you caught gossiping about your Guru to another Guru in the Sri Sampradaya, what do you think will happen?
Get wrecked.
The two Gurus will whack you, and Lord Narayan living in your heart. The word happy will disappear, both as a word and as an emotion. You'll never know what's happiness. Every second you'll be in sorrow. Also, don't join the Guru's enemies. Those that took the Guru on and gossip about the Guru, and if you join them, then who are you? Who are you?
enemy.
The enemy of an enemy is not a... You understand? And then you'll want to know why things are not right. Why things are not externally right. Because you are internally still wrong. If your internal factors are wrong, which is your cause, how can your effect be right? Cause is wrong, effect will be. Cause is right, effect will be right. Stop gossiping about your guru. Rule number 1. It is a Vedic injunction that don't take your guru for an ordinary man. And this is rule number 1. Rule number 1. Because you'll only gossip about your guru when you take your guru as an ordinary man. And this is the lesson that Lord Sri Krishna is teaching in the Bhagavad Gita. It's going to come later. It's going to come later. As soon as gossip, any infringement of this organization becomes unbearable to the Guru's conscience, then the Guru discusses this as a warning. As a warning. It means you must stop immediately or leave the satsang. You can't have it both ways. You can't have it both ways. You may continue gossiping, but out of here. Because as long as you hear and you gossip, what do you think is going to happen? Next lifetime you'll be born a bigger gossiper. And you are gossiping in this lifetime because you are gossiping in your last life. And that's your destiny in this life. And you yapping away. Unguarded. You don't know, the Guru has thousands of years. Devashni, when last you gossiped about your Guru? Devashni is thinking. So many thousand gossips, she's trying to think now which one the Guru caught her. You can see it? Don't look at the Guru. I said this last week, again I'm saying it. Look at yourself. Look at yourself. There's enough there. There's enough there. When you really start looking, you won't have time to look anywhere else. There's so much there. Alright? It's like blackjack. You take out 1, 10. You take out another one, another 10. Where you'll have time to see the Guru if you look in there and pull in out blackjacks, Natasha? Where you'll have time? As you look in at the Guru, what's happening to the blackjack garden? It's going to carry on onto your next lifetime. And then you say the satsang is not working. Alright? So again, I'm distinguishing now between the cause through destiny is your inner self, the effect through destiny is the material world. Okay? So when you change, the cause of the inner self, what will happen to the destiny of the external world will also change. Is it logical? Logic, Ashok Bhai? Because we came with two components. It's called karma. When the karma was added, and it was more or less equal, Ashok Bhai, then God give you a human body. When the two karmas, the negative and the positive, almost equalizes, then God say, okay, let me take this soul out of a pig's body and give it a human body. But most of the souls that came to my satsang, Ashok Bhai, came out of a snake's body. Because the behavior is very snaky, slippery and slidey. Alright? Well, I don't know, I got the Sheshnak imprinted on my head, so maybe my disciples had to be. Alright? So if you are snaky, it's because you were snaky before, you're snaky now, and you'll be snaky in the future, unless you change. Alright? So I've heard of the word rishify. So I've heard of the word rishify. Poor Rishi is not yet there. I hope he didn't get rishified somewhere. Alright? So Rishify is not here, he went to hospital. And he was successfully treated and is at home. Okay? So that inner self we're talking to, or we're talking about, is called what? So, that inner self is called the soul. Attached to the soul is the consciousness. A symptom of the soul is consciousness. Symptom of the soul, consciousness. No soul, no consciousness. Soul, consciousness. Then there's two types of consciousness. Basic consciousness and attributive consciousness. This destiny is computed in the attributive consciousness. This attributive consciousness works outside. It makes you aware of external things. And the substantive consciousness, or the basic consciousness, makes the soul aware of itself. So we're talking about that soul. A symptom or an inseparable quality of the soul is consciousness. Like the inseparable quality of the light of the bulb is light. You cannot separate the two, isn't it? See the bulb that's lit and see the rays that's pervaded. Can you separate that two? Similarly, you cannot separate consciousness from the soul. Then these enemies live in the consciousness of the soul, the attributive consciousness of the soul. And knowledge from a guru can burn this 6 enemies of yours, collectively called ignorance. Collectively called ignorance. When these enemies are seated in your consciousness, it makes you ignorant of the absolute truth. So this transcendental knowledge that the Guru gives you, it enters your ears and it pervades your consciousness and it turns to ashes. Your previous karma, which in turn burns your karma in proportion to your sincerity and your loyalty to the satsang. So you can come to the satsang and hear 1,000 discourses, and if you go back home and do not change, and if you do not change, it means you are not loyal. Because change and loyalty works hand in glove. Ashok Bhai, you think Guru is right? Yeah. Because to change you have to be loyal. If Guru say do this, then you have to loyally abide to the Guru by doing this. If Guru say don't do that, you have to loyally abide by the Guru say by not doing that. If you do not abide by the Gurus, then although you are hearing this transcendental discourse, it gets extinguished before it reaches your attribute of consciousness and it burns nothing. So you're wasting time. Okay? And this is how this system works. As soon as you say Acharya Ji anywhere, you'll have to find a code name for me. Because when you say Acharya Ji, I log on and I know. I know. Okay? So what is tonight's lesson before we go into the Bhagavad Gita? Go home tonight and make a list. Which enemy is on the top? Radhisha? Which was your sister's enemy that was number one? No. Her anger. And she confessed in satsang. And she worked at it. And because she removed anger, she had no pride. She had no pride. Alright? Because we removed anger. And she removed it. I only gave her the pliers to pull it out. I gave her the pliers and she pulled it out. And today she has a divine child called Narayani. Narayani attended and came and met the Guru, and she was seated here in the front. Were you here that day, Hemita? Okay, I'm talking to our video recorder. As soon as she heard my voice, Hemita, what did she do?
She smiled.
She was fast asleep. Her eyes were closed. As soon as she heard my voice, she smiled in her sleep. How is that possible? Then I took her and I placed her at the feet of my sampradaya. Her eyes were still closed. She was handed over to the Guru by her mother. And when I placed her at the feet of the sampradaya, Hemita, what did she do?
She smiled.
She smiled again. A 6 or 7 year old day, 6 or 7 day child knows the Guru and knows the sampradaya and knows the Gomata because she smiled at the Gomata's as well. And her eyes were tightly closed. And this is, people would compartmentalize, minds will say it's a miracle. People that have devoted to themselves to the system will say it is natural of the Acharya Sham Ramanuj Foundation, where the word impossible does not exist. Okay? Look, this is a positive story. Her mother is present today. Alright? I don't know in which time she'll leave her anger. But her daughter has made huge progress spiritually. Because of her loyalty to the Guru, she's been blessed with Narayan. Okay? And that can happen. Natasha, you also want a Narayan? She is listening, you know. Alright? Yes, Guru can give every one of you a Narayan. Alright, but I think I'll allow Pranisha to get angry if anyone steals a name, her daughter's name. And she can really get angry, you can ask her husband so. And her mother, father and sister. Alright? So because she didn't have anger, she had no pride. And because she had no pride, she will continue to exist in this satsang. And this is why you need to remove anger. And I did hundreds of discourses on anger, and I continue to do so because the temperament is right today for me to want devotees extinguish anger. Pride will go away. Don't stand up against the Guru. It's never helped anyone, and it will never help anyone. Look, 3 years ago, so many people stood up against the Guru. Look where the Guru is today. If those people were right, would the Sri Narayan Dham have been awarded by Lord Narayan? No, we continue to grow. We continue to grow in strength, fast and quick. So let's go back to the soul. We said that the soul, the size of the soul is 1/10,000 the size of the tip of your head. We said the symptom of the soul is consciousness. We said the sixth enemy lives in the attributive consciousness, which is linked to the soul, Natasha, and it goes from life to life, from big bodies to small bodies to thin bodies to fat bodies. Same soul, same consciousness, and the attributive consciousness takes the karma that is computed on it from life to life. So you burn the body, you can't burn the karma. Alright? Can't burn the karma. So this life, whatever is in your attributive consciousness, you computed in your previous life. Now this same attributive consciousness supposed to be connected to Lord Narayan. You're supposed to be connected to Lord Narayan, and love supposed to flow between you and Lord Narayan like oil from one vessel to the other. But this 6 enemies have formed a stoppage barrier called ignorance. And if you want the oil to flow, you have to remove the ignorance yourself. Yourself. Guru will give you the pliers. Alright? Pliers. Guru will give you the pliers. Yesterday I bought a huge fencing pliers because we're fencing now. Alright? You can see it when Peter is here tomorrow. Some of you need these huge pliers. You also car accidents. When they try and cut up the car, some of you need that size pliers. Alright, jaws of life. But Guru will give it as it necessitates. Okay? Tivasni? She needs a whole set of pliers from small to big. Now, the size of the soul is our... Natasha, where we stop? I think you got the job, Natasha. Vasan? Vasan? Who will pick up my vegetables? Your next PA must also be a driver. Chapter 2. We finished with 16. Yes, we're on 17 now. The Sri Ramanuj Gita Bhasya, chapter 2, verse 17. Know that to be indestructible, by which all this is pervaded, none can cause the destruction of this immutable. What Lord Sri Krishna is saying? Know that to be indestructible, by which all this is pervaded, none can cause the destruction of this immutable. Yet, last week what I said, was it Sunday? What I said about the soul. It is in this, so we're using the word destruct. Alright? What does destruct means? Destroy. Destroy. How do you destroy something? By burning? Only burning? Breaking? Water, using the element water, water destroys? Air destroys? How does it destroy? How? From where? How does it do that? How?
Through the lungs.
How does fire destroy? How does air destroy? How does wind destroy? These are elements of destruction. they can pervade each other, what it means. They have a power to pervade. They can only destroy through pervasion. Pervade means it can enter into. It can enter into. All these gross elements cannot enter into the soul, because the soul is so subtle that nothing can enter it. And if nothing can enter it, nothing can destroy it. So if we put you alive in a thick, 10 centimeter thick steel box and burn you inside, what will happen to the soul? Nothing. And if you don't open the steel box, what will happen to the soul? Where will the soul be? Inside the steel box or outside the steel box? Kishore, you thinking of school days, standard 5, standard 6, when algebra just came into normal maths, when you just realized maths and you just took a liking to maths in standard 5, then you went to standard 6 and they brought in algebra. Kishore got that look. Krishna Ramanujas, if you burn a live body in a 10 centimeter steel box, where will the soul be? So the burning is indestructible. Now we put a 10 centimeter box, properly welded. Anna, where will the soul be? At which point it will come outside the box? Which point of the burning?
The heart stops.
When the heart stops. And how will the soul live? It is so subtle that it will come through the molecules of metal. Because metal in all its state is made up of atoms, and more than one atom is called molecule. And all the molecules combined will give you a thick 10 centimeter, and molecules are, or atoms are atomic in size, but the soul is subatomic. Okay, let me explain to Meena. Meena, if you take a glass of a dish of marbles and fill the dish up with marbles. Alright? Then you take a grain of sand and drop it. Will the sand be able to pass through? Meena, what is the size of a marble and what is the size of a grain of sand? And if you put all the marbles close together, won't there be gaps in between? And if you drop the sand inside, the grain of sand, will it reach the bottom? Yes. Similarly, the soul is like the grain of sand in the atoms of the thick 10 centimeter metal, and as soon as the heart stops, it got no more function in the body because its seat is the heart. And then it will leave the body through any of the 9 openings, depending on how pure you was. Alright? And if you was an impure person, which opening you think the soul is going to? Alright? And if you're a nurse, you'll see a lot of people died when they messed themselves up. It means that's the way the soul left. And a lot of people, blood came out of the nostril. That's the way the soul left. And a lot of people died with a smile. Alright? That's the way the soul left. But if you absolutely divine, then there's an aperture on your crown and the soul will lead straight through the crown. Okay? So, can you ever be killed? So I'm talking to the soul. Can the soul ever be killed? So is there any fear, any need for any fear? So the first thing that you need to do is remove fear. Because fear is the handicap of all human. Which human is not afraid? And if you know you are invincible, then what will happen to fear? You welcome death. You welcome death like you welcome your new sari, see? When you buy a brand new sari and it's in your wardrobe and you know there's a function coming and you want to wear that beautiful sari, see? How you welcome the change of the old sari and the adorning of the new sari. Similarly, you must welcome death, because you just changing your sari. You just changing your sari. This old sari, with all the other old saris, will be your family. New sari will be your new family. Don't be attached. Don't be attached. Very difficult concept. Very, very difficult concept. But we have to teach you. Because my job as a Sri Vaishnavite Guru is to tell you, forget about the halwa. Thousands and thousands of halwa puris, forget about it. Aarti, how much flour you saved in the past 3 years? Alright? Forget about the halwa puris, Srini. Forget about hooking your body. And pulling chariots. Alright? All those things will only give you another body. All these things you do will give you another body. You did it for 155 trillion years already. You made your halwa puris, you pulled your chariots, you hooked your bodies. It just gave you another body, that's why you're sitting here. So, we don't want another body now. Don't. We want happiness and peace. And we want to go back home. We're tired. So, every life, a new wife. Story is the same. In 155 trillion years, how many wives you think you had, Kishore Bhai? You think the story ever changed? Story is the same. Alright? Because you never married a Dharam Patni, you married wives. Now you must, if you get another life, Kishore Bhai, then you must look for a Dharam Patni and not a well, I had a guru from Vrindavan saying that. And tomorrow starts Krishna Janma to me. Do you think he came with a wrong or right message, Ashok Bhai? He said, don't marry wives. Marry Dharam Patnis. Because wives will take you away from, and Dharam Patnis will take you to God. So if you marry someone that takes you away from God, you wasted another sari. Are there any questions? You think Sanatan Dharma is a perfect science? You think anyone can change this science or have any capacity to change this science? This discourse where I quote is the breath of God. Is the breath of God. And this verse is the spoken word of God. If you do not believe it, you think it is not true, it is just your state of ignorance. Ignorance. And this is why Gurus ask you, after initiation, simply to listen. And if you listen, and the ignorance is removed, will there ever be a need for you to contend with the instruction of your Guru? All of you understand? Because whatever the Guru will tell you will make perfect sense, because there's no obstructions. So initiation means I now leave my filth, which has been stuck to me since time immemorial and which has led me to many filthy bodies. You can't be offended. Whose body is not filthy? Is body made of filth? Meena, really, I don't think I'll see her in my satsang again. She made a face like Ragni when I told Ragni, don't eat chicken, it's rotten meat. Same face Meena made. Now, poor Ragni is gone, Meena. Alright? We carry filth So we get a filthy body. Every body is filthy, is it not? So the Guru wants to dress you in a Suddha Sattva body. Suddha Sattva body have no filth. With that body, you can have back your relationship with Lord Sriman Narayan. Because his body is Suddha Sattva. And if you have a Suddha Sattva body, your relationship is re-established. But in this body, we teach you how to accept that body. Like when you practice, when astronauts practice to walk in space, do they go to space and practice, or they create a bubble here and practice in that bubble? So where they do practice? Down here, not in space. Because when they go to space, they must already know all their procedures. Similarly, we create a bubble called satsang. And you come in this bubble called satsang, and you practice and practice and practice and practice, so that when you become an astronaut, you know how to live in space. Jai Sriman Narayan.